All right, welcome to Tennis Sucks, Pickleball podcast with Travis, Rhett, and mine, Graham D'Amico. It is post MLP final. I just, for the record, like to say that the last episode went out the day after we recorded, Graham.
It was 2 days.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that because that means either you could always get it out like that, or
and he did 4 promo clips on top of it.
Boom, 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 boom. Or
what happened there?
Right. So there's 2. Like I remember a coach of mine long ago was like, "Hey, you got to make 20 backends in a row. Right now, you're running." I made 20 in a row. He's like, "Now you're running 100." It's like, wait, why? Why? Because you were not trying before.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
exactly. Yeah.
It's because he hasn't been to a festival.
Yeah,
he's been repairing his house. He like installed a sink, a bathroom light, a fence. He's getting pods out.
I've been storing up all my Adderall, and so
he told me, he's like, I went to Tivana. I'm making my own tea and English fogs at home now. It's delicious.
I'm a new man.
It's like a whole new man.
I am a new man. Yep. So productive. Well, anyway, we've got a lot to talk about. The finals obviously just concluded yesterday. So we'll kind of go through it in some sort of order, hopefully. But I guess prediction-wise, not so great for us. I don't think that we truly predicted that the Flash would.
Yeah, I put it on in my story online. Like I couldn't believe how much the pressure seemed to get to Hayden and Gabe. I expected them just, crush it. And not that Anna played her best either, I don't think, but it really seemed to disrupt their play. And,
Is Augie the face of pro pickleball now?
For the moment, yes.
Okay.
Definitely for the moment. And I mean, you have to say, like, he handled the pressure better than anybody, for sure.
They're throwing a parade in Arizona right now for him, I heard.
Wow.
Saw a post. We got to throw a parade for him when he gets home.
Well, they said it was going to make like some other championship look small or something. But yeah, he deserves a parade.
Wow.
Good for him. He was the gladiator, Arizona League last year, and this year he's the MLP champ.
And Dallas needed a championship, from what I understand.
Cowboys.
They've been hungry for one for a long time.
Yeah. So I was surprised by that. Our picks were not great. I had St. Louis Shock as my top pick. I got, I guess, Jersey right at second. The Hard Eights played terrible in the challenger level. That was surprising to me as well. But a really weird tournament, right? Because Jaume was out for Atlanta, who I think was my pick. Who filled in for him? Scarpa, which, no disrespect to Scarpa, but Jaume is just a different level than that. And then you had Allison Harris out for Chicago, Brennan Long out for Chicago, and Wyatt performed really well, but just a very, very weird tournament. Miami was obviously at full strength, and they turned out to be the best team.
Yeah, kind of disappointing to have so many players out. It's like you're not really watching like the culmination of the team effort.
Yeah, it was very disappointing to have those players out, and we could speculate on why, but
we're guessing.
Yeah,
do you know the reason?
No, I'm asking you to speculate.
We're guessing is that they fulfilled their contracts. And so it's like, okay, we're clocking out. It's vacation time.
Right.
Which is wild to think.
Yeah, but if they're not getting paid, like that's the problem with this deal. It's like, if they're not getting paid, why would they go?
Yeah.
Well, they can still get paid.
Okay.
For instance, the team, like I know.
I can find $1,000 on the way home, but probably not.
No, like Atlanta would pay for him to be there.
Okay. Well,
1,000%.
Maybe that was, I don't know what Jaume's deal is, but I don't know the situation, but I do think if a player has fulfilled their requirements, what incentive is there for them to play?
I don't know. Win a championship.
They don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I would care, but I'm not doing it.
But you're not traveling 25 weeks a year. I think after 25 weeks, you'd be like, fuck this.
No, can't.
Yes, you would.
Plus, and it's for money. It's for money on top of it.
How'd you do after the 1 week of travel to?
They didn't pay me for that.
Right, but you were dying. You were like, I don't know how you do this. I slept for 3 days.
It was horrible.
I mean, look, I'm with you. I would like to see them play, but I
Plus,
understand.
they're playing for money. There's big stakes in Premier, and there's decent money. Something.
Challenger. Yeah, I got
Challenger.
I'm just saying. I understand both sides. It's a shitty outcome. It is the way it is, but
that's our only guess because there's no other events going on. There's no other reason why, unless they're injured or sick, but they didn't say that. So we're assuming it's just filled the contract, don't have to do it, so they don't do it.
Yeah.
Which goes back to Travis and I's statement of, well, if you pay them, regardless of results, you're not going to get the same out of them. And here's a glaring example of that. if they've already fulfilled their contract and they don't want to play in a championship for money. Like, it doesn't get any more obvious than that.
The question is for how much, and if it's not clear cut, just like, oh, hey, if you come and we win and we'll give you some money. You're like, what does that mean? $50? $1 million? Like, what does it mean?
No, like the team's got money.
Yeah, I understand. But my point is, like, let's say they made it, let's just say in theory, a player did this and they didn't play because their contract was fulfilled. If it's not on paper and I'm not certain that I'm winning and getting that money, I might not show. I might not come.
All right, if we had it and we were playing for the championship and you never contract fulfilled, we would give you money to come play on top of your ability to possibly win.
I understand.
Winnings. Oh,
I understand.
So that'd be in writing.
Yeah, in writing. But maybe for these said players, they're just saying like, hey, yeah, please come. We'll pay you. We'll give you what you want at the end. But maybe it wasn't in writing. Maybe it wasn't clear. And the player's like, fuck that. I'm tired. I want to chill. I've been traveling all year. There's no loyalty here. I hate to say it, but there isn't.
Yeah.
Other than those substitutions, there was also a controversial substitution in the
bronze medal
Texas Ranchers bronze medal match, right?
And I'm really glad they lost after that. I think it's such a crock of shit.
That explain like what actually went down, what happened?
Well, this actually almost happened to us a few years ago, and we complained about it then. Essentially, Marietta, I guess, was sick or injured or something, played fine in her women's doubles and her mixed, and then it was deemed that she could not play the Dreambreaker. And hence they brought in a different player to play the Dreambreaker. You can speculate whether that's a better singles player or not. But in my opinion, if you play the 2 matches leading into the Dreambreaker, there should be absolutely no substitution whatsoever, regardless of how you feel. I thought it was ridiculous. And fortunately, the Shock handled business. Gabe in particular played great against Kwong. I don't think that substitution should ever be allowed under any circumstances. Even if you break your leg, you have to play.
Well, I think it was a mistake for them to do that in general. I think Etta could have done just as well as Imperato.
Fair.
And she's warmed up. She knows how to handle the pressure a little better. It's tough to come in ice cold with 10 minutes notice, play under that pressure for the first time ever in a bronze medal match, whereas Etta's been there. So I'm assuming Etta's going to take 1 of 3 or 1 of 4 points in each rotation. So I don't know that they gained anything by putting.
No, I would be bricking it if that was me.
Right.
They're like, controversially, there's a lot of pressure now, and you have to go and play 4 points of singles.
She played pretty well, though.
Yeah.
If you watch the points weren't bad. Yeah.
From True Look? I thought she played very well. Is that your
From Imperato?
Yeah. I thought
all things considered.
Sorry, Imperato. Yeah, I thought she played very well. I don't think there were bad points at all. I mean, Fahey's a very tough player.
Yeah.
It's a tough out.
I thought she did great.
Horrible, horrible ass.
So what was the argument? So, because Anna was all up in the ref's business, right? Like trying to argue for something.
Argument is the same one that
I just made.
She played both.
You should never be able to sub. And they're right. Because let's just say you could. Now, whether they did or not, and you can make the argument that Graham did, but let's just say that it's Chris Hayworth, okay? And he's sitting there waiting, and you've got me. And okay, well, we want to put in Hayworth for Rettenmeyer now. Rettenmeyer, his knee's a little wobbly. Well, fuck. That's not right.
Right.
Now you get a huge advantage, and that circumstance will happen.
Right.
That's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the ironic thing, isn't it Gabe that they tried to bring in as a sub when it was happening to us?
Yes.
Then it happened to Gabe.
They did it to us, remember, actually to play the semi of that one time or the quarter.
Yeah.
To play. But previously, earlier in that event, they were trying to get him to play just the Dreambreaker.
Yeah.
And we were like, no, dude, that's fucking crazy.
But I think the rule is if a doctor or medical staff comes on and deems the player it's not safe to play, or they're injured where they can't play, then they can bring a sub in, even if it's just for the Dreambreaker.
Yeah.
That's a very stupid rule. That's all I'm saying. It's a stupid rule.
No argument for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it didn't end up working out for them. So either way, I guess we can't, who knows? But do you think they might change that rule now?
No.
Or do you think that that's a possibility that people now knowing that that's a possibility?
To change the rule. There's going to be enough uproar. I guarantee you Anna's complaining about it. Other players that watched it are going to be complaining about it. Nobody in theory wants that. Nobody wants that.
But who's available? Who's going to be available that's not already a signed player as an alternate for a premier level Dreambreaker that you're going to bring in?
If you start the match, you have to finish the match. That's insane that you can bring someone in. If you start and you're good enough to start the match, you finish. That's an
Or you
unfortunate incident. That's
forfeit, right?
sports.
Is that the
Yeah, it's
idea?
sports, man.
Yeah.
That happens. People get injured. Like, fuck, that's crazy.
I mean, the real fix is to have more than 4 players, which is
Sure.
what we should
if you
go
have a
to.
sub, that's different.
We should have 6 players and we can rotate them on whenever we want.
Okay.
We can decide, hey, we're going to do this mixed doubles team.
But that's a different conversation. Right now,
Yeah.
we're talking about the rule that's in place with 4
Okay,
people.
yeah.
The rule should not be there.
I think the fix is going to end up being more than 4 players on a
Fine.
team.
I can agree with.
what,
But for
so you're-
now,
So
that should not
you'll have some alternates that are single specialists
Right.
as alternates on your specific
I see.
team, and you bring them in, or you might have a mixed double specialist. They just come in for mixed doubles.
So you're enabling the swapping out, but you're drafting a team with
drafting a team,
intentionally that
exactly,
in
knowing
mind.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone does get injured, you have backups, but it's like you can't get mad that it's like they were part of the team anyway.
It makes the team more fun that way, I think. If you had 6 players and you were like, okay, we're getting a right side girl, we're getting a left side girl,
I agree.
we're getting a single specialist.
I can't wait till there's subs.
And then
That'll be awesome.
And then the teams are like you would have another team.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's kind of a specialist in their
Right.
spot, and you're bringing them in for that
Right.
moment.
So do they reduce the number of overall teams to allow for that? It's
No,
presumably
we just need
you-
more players.
We see more players.
more
which
players.
is happening.
Okay.
It's happening, especially on the
Okay.
guys. You can do it on the guy side already.
Oh, you
Yeah,
do it on the
for
guy
sure.
side for sure.
There's plenty of them sitting around that are
There's a
good
lot of guys
players.
that aren't even drafted to Challenger right now that are very, very good.
Yeah. In positive news, we had a new AI system to call lines, which looked pretty good.
Super
I
impressive.
like that little black dot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very clear cut.
So they're sticking with the 25% in or over the line rule, but now they've got the black dot. You can really make a better judgment.
Yeah, and it was crazy because that one with the flash there at the end of the mix was so close. Could have gone either way that they called out. So there still could be like some, I think it's touching. I think it's not, but it's very, very, very accurate.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then is that technology gonna stay for MLP and PPA from this point on, or what?
I'm not sure, but boy, I sure hope so. Because it was, memes did something that was funny. It was like in just a few months, we've gone from this,
Yeah.
where like a call was completely blocked out,
Right.
to this.
Yeah.
Like, I hope so. We all need that.
Right.
Again, if gambling is ever going to be a part of this, which we all need it to be, if we ever want contracts after this 3 years is up, you need gambling.
Yeah.
Then you need the calls to be correct. You can't have a black box in front of the
Yeah.
camera system at, whatever.
How great would it be to have had that technology for that Black Bears call? And they did the freeze, and it's
The black dot is just barely in there.
It's a foot inside the line.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Oh, man.
Damn.
That would be
But
awesome.
that call would never be made in that case.
Well, no, of course not.
They'd be like, "Oh, that was out." Like, okay, let's check the
Let's
replay.
go to the black dot.
So it was a foot in. Our bad.
Yeah. I assume it's just a case of money. I wonder how much that technology costs to put in
I'm
a
sure it costs
tournament.
fair bit.
They have it.
I mean, they're renting it I assume, from a company that has it, right?
Okay. I mean, I feel like things like that can get cheap really fast. Right? It's like it's expensive at first, and then suddenly a year later, it's not that expensive.
Maybe, yeah. And then it'll be on the iPhone 18.
Right.
you know? Yeah.
Exactly. We'll have it in our pocket next month.
All right. So I also saw some viral clips of Alshon getting a ball to the face from Will Howells.
Yeah.
And then Mish laughing about it, which I felt like was appropriate. It was pretty funny.
Everybody laughed at it. That's funny.
It's like, I don't mean to laugh, but that's funny.
Plus, his reaction was great. The fact that he just kind of like walked off, like, what happened? I have no idea what happened. I was hitting the ball to him, And he was doing that thing where he's like over the net, roaring in your face. It was like, okay, motherfucker. And then Hayden later the week flips him off. It was like, oh man, this guy's taking it from all angles. So yeah, I mean, it was good from Howells. The way he played it off, I thought was great. I like the way he competes. He seems to have, some
confidence.
Some swag to him.
It's funny. So many of the comments on Instagram are like, "This is terrible for the sport," blah blah. And I'm just like, man, I really think it's just like the best. Like, it makes it so much more fun to watch.
Yeah, but those are the Karens,
Right.
I said one time that because I got like a technical warning for cursing, and someone questioned like, "What do you think of that rule?" I was like, "I think it's ridiculous. Like, we're not in fucking church; it's sports.
Right.
You care about it. You're emotional. People want to watch. If you take that away, then what do we have? We have vanilla everywhere, and it's boring as shit. No personality. Like, you have to some extent let people be who they are. As soon as you try to do that and just dumb everyone down so much, then fuck, it's really, really, really boring.
Yeah.
There's
More
a
balls
reason
to
Nick
the
Kyrgios
face.
is probably the highest paid player ever to not win a slam outside of Nishikori.
Yeah. But then you said that Hayden got injured on the pickle roll.
Yeah, we were talking about this too, about how we can't believe we have these beautiful courts at USTA Tennis Center there, and they just put pickle rolls over
Did they?
top
I
of them.
didn't know they did that.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was pickle roll.
Those
I saw that they had the carpet, but I didn't know it was pickle roll.
yeah. And they didn't even put, it doesn't even read pickle roll on it. So like, I think it's for sponsorship purposes, but we've got it as a sponsor and then you don't see pickle roll. It's strange. Like,
Yeah, I had no idea.
because those courts were just built in the last couple of years, those stadium courts with pickleball. They're really nice courts, I think. There's nothing wrong with them. And we put rollout courts on top.
So weird.
There's got to be a reason.
Like, it makes no sense. And then, yeah, he didn't trip over the actual court. What they did, which seems kind of foolish, at the end of the courts, they put like AstroTurf or a carpeting that laid over it, and he tripped over the carpeting at the seam. But again, that wouldn't be there if we just had the regular courts there.
Right. Yeah, it's super weird.
Tripped. They had to go put him through concussion protocol because they're afraid he hit his head. He didn't, but he hurt his wrist trying to catch his fall. Because unexpected. He was running it unexpected, and he didn't really get his hand down in time.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
There's really, like, that happens so often, it feels like, with so much movement on the court. Like, there isn't enough space around for people to do that.
The way the game's progressed, it's actually like Dion's thing always when she's watching is you guys need more space.
Yeah.
And you see people crashing into walls left and right, off lobs even. You know, like a guy's a good lob. I think Anna Lee like smashed into the back wall at one point.
There was that like indoor facility that had the ball catchers around the side. They were like very low, and people were like literally jumping over them, and like their foot was catching and pulling them out. Terrifying. It was crazy.
There's going to be. You remember like years ago when Paul George in the Olympic basketball event jumped to slam dunk? You remember that? And his ankle, because in like FIBA in the international games they didn't have the base of the basketball hoop as far back. He was like running, and it was either a block or a dunk. And he literally lands, and his ankle just breaks in half as he lands on it, right? And they changed that, of course, because in the NBA, they're like, oh, these guys are flying. Well, at that particular time, there wasn't as many guys flying around on international basketball, and he fucking snapped his leg.
Oh, my God.
Something like, I think about that sometimes when guys are earning and they have those metal bars there, those pieces, like, guys gonna get fucking rocked at one point. You know, that it's scary.
There was more room around these courts than most, though.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which is kind of almost somewhat part of the problem as well, because now they have more space to move, so they're going faster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes, right.
And so they got higher speeds when they get to those walls now.
Right.
They're less aware of them early on, and then they speed up. Oh shit.
Yeah. They're able to get more momentum than they're used to being able to get.
That makes sense.
So, but yeah, there was quite a bit of space around these. But yeah, when you hit that transition to that carpet, it was messing people up. I think Tyra tripped on it once.
Yeah.
I think even Georgia. But that shot that Hayden fell on, he almost got over. It would have been disgusting, by the way. It was like one of those back saddle hits.
Oh, I love those.
And it just hit the top of the white of the net, because that's why he fell. He hit it, and then you could tell he was kind of looking behind him to see if it got over.
Right.
And he caught his foot and fell. But it was almost disgusting.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
Would have been worth it. Then it would have been a Sports Center highlight.
Yeah.
With a fall.
It would have been great.
Are you happy that I'm not praising Hayden and Gabe for once?
Because they didn't do well.
That's true. He stayed silent.
I'm saying, I'm objective. You know? Like, there's this idea that like I just fucking post about them for no reason.
We're not happy. We get a kick out of it. When Luke's editing the film, it's all we talk about.
That's wonderful.
Is how much
so funny.
how much Travis is sucking off Hayden right now.
That seems really inappropriate.
Sorry.
Like always, you go too far. You don't know how to do it. You have no discretion whatsoever.
All right. Moving on.
Yeah, Christ.
All right, so let's get to the main event. So the finals between the Flash and the Fives. What happened?
Augie fucking good. Start with that. Guy was what? 12-2 in the playoffs total, I think.
Oh,
Is that
really?
right? Yeah, dude. Really lost match. He was 10-0 at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, 10-0. And then
You had him as a partner.
I did. He actually wrote me and said, I said, great playing. He's like, sorry I didn't play like that with you.
Oh, man.
It happens. Hey, the guy peaked at the right time. That's sports. Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he'd been playing well at all for the past few months with anybody. He just suddenly found his game, and that's, you know, again, that's sports. It's good timing.
Georgia played great.
Georgia was
Brock,
great.
energy. JW played. They all played great. They all played incredible.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm giving it to. They all are peaking. I think.
And I think they were all very supportive of one another. I think one thing that they kept saying on the stream was how when Mari started to struggle, it seemed like there was a slight disconnect in the team. Like people were shuffling different directions, and I'm not saying they had bad team chemistry. They certainly didn't, but maybe it wasn't as supportive or as connected. And I think that makes sense given how much weight there was on Annalie's shoulders the whole time. You know, it was like, it's challenging. They were all almost contributing equally on the Dallas Flash. So that makes for a unique squad.
I had a newfound respect for Tyra. I don't think I've really watched her all that close before. And I got to see her in person. By the way, Luke didn't really watch MLP, I heard. You weren't watching until
I watched game 2
or
and 3, and then I watched a little bit of the semis.
I was there in person, so I want that to be noted.
Yes, okay.
But, man, I was impressed with Tyra's game. Like, I just, and it's not that it's any better. I just wasn't paying close enough attention. She's freaking good.
No, she's really good. And the funny thing is her third shot drop is by far her worst shot. And she finds a way in. She kind of like, she's so good at the defensive aspect of the game. It's like, even if she gets a drop that's at the person's head, you still can't get by her. She's going to drive through it. She's going to get one down eventually.
But she's good at defense, but she is also good at countering and attacks. The attacks she's bad at is the ones from below the below the net out of the air. I don't know why she went for that.
She doesn't have a lot of rotation on the ball. Like, no matter where it is, it doesn't even matter where. Everything's kind of like a shove. Her technique is very, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't want to say janky because it's not the right word, but it's not like she's manipulating the ball very much on anything. Now, she has a good backhand flick if it's relatively flat, but she's not like rotating it a ton.
But off the bounce, she's good at attacking. It's the she reaches in for low balls. And when she hits that, everyone across the net knows it's out almost every time. No one even looks to hit it.
She's better on the back end. The forehand doesn't create a lot of rotation off the bounce.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, her hands are fantastic. Like, if you're in a pure hand battle with her, fucking great. If you have, and I say this without hesitation, like, if you have an overhead, and I said this last week, if you have an overhead and you're hitting an angle trying off the court, I don't know who defends it better than her, man or woman. Her like 0 to full speed is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And she reads it really early. Her anticipation's good. So yeah, she does a lot of things very, very well.
Yes.
If she learns to improve her drop even a little bit, like right now, I think she's a top 5 female. She's probably, arguably better than that. And I think playing with Elise has helped her in the PPAs. I think they have a very good rapport. It's given her a lot of confidence. Maybe helped her kind of find her identity a little bit more. So yeah, you got to credit her. Georgia, to me, was like the X factor in regards to the energy. She was bouncing around.
She was the Anna Bright of the team.
Yeah, she was screaming and pumping everybody up, and she did an unbelievable job. And then, to be honest, like, yeah, they went to a dream. So Fives win the first round, 3-2 in a dream breaker. They hadn't lost a dream breaker yet. They go to the dream breaker in the second match, and you're thinking, well, this doesn't look good for them. Augie, I think, goes 8-1 or something like that against Zane. Like, at one point blanked him 4-0. And then Georgia more than held her own against Anna Lee, which I think really turned everything on its head. Because that was the first scenario, I think, where Anna Lee had been like, had lost or been fragile. And all of a sudden, she didn't play nearly as well.
Yeah.
In the third match, she was not herself. So, yeah, crazy. What would you say the odds were after the Fives won the men's to start? If you're a gambling man, which I am, what are the odds there?
Not
they win?
good. Not good.
Jesus.
Maybe a 15% chance. And I would say even more so, go after seeing that first dream breaker, thinking, okay, we have to win these 3-1 if we're going to win them. And then going to a dream breaker in the second game and then winning that dream breaker and then winning the 3-1. Everything about it. Like,
and then again,
I would have never guessed. I would have never guessed that.
The crazy thing is, I didn't think Augie played well in the men's. Like, the last 4 or 5 points, he leaves dinks high. I was like, oh man, he's like, it's finally getting to him a little bit. And then in the mixed, he was just awesome. Barely missed a ball. Made a couple really great reads. I felt like Anna Lee played like she was rattled the whole time. And unfortunately for Mari played terrible. Whether it was the women's doubles or the mixed with Zane, because I thought Zane played out of his fucking mind to get to the position he was in mixed. And she froze a little bit. Her error count was super high and she was struggling, and everybody on the court knew it. And that's a hard part when you know that, like, shit, I'm struggling. Everyone sees it. And how do I get out of this? I'm letting my team down. The commentators are talking about me. What do I do? Yeah. And it's a very tough situation.
But it made for great pickleball.
Oh,
and
God.
We know how bad Anna Lee wants it. So now she's going to be more hungry.
She's so competitive. I just have so much respect for the way she conducts herself in that regard. Like, she tries her fucking ass off.
Yeah. And I thought JW was really into it. I don't know if I've seen him I have, but not too often. Like that into it. Like in the singles, he was zoned in,
Dude, he
trying
was
to get
locked.
every point he could.
I think everywhere he was
All of
locked
them
in.
were.
Yeah,
But it's cool to see that at a JW.
for sure.
It's like, oh damn,
No, but I'm
because you
saying
know he's an
every-
animal, and
whether
when
it
you
was
see him being an animal.
singles, doubles, mixed, all of them,
Yeah.
he looked super engaged.
Agreed. I
Like
like
when
that.
they got that call where Georgia, they called out and the black dot shows it's like a millimeter on the line. And that was for the win. Now it's like 25-25. And then they have like a high ball that they should have finished. They didn't finish it. And still they were like just point by point, brick by brick. There was no hyper emotion. There was no poor me. He just competed really well.
Yeah. That was fun to watch.
Very cool that it's both coaches are moms of the team.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of neat.
That's a neat
Super neat.
dynamic.
Yeah.
Mom coach battle. So there's another like game inside the game there.
I think they should have made the moms the substitutes. Play the moms singles, dream breaker, celebrity
I
shot.
think I'll
That'd
take
be-
Lee in that one.
Yeah, I think I would too.
But she's coming off that knee injury.
Yeah, I'll still take Lee in that one.
Oh, interesting. That's great.
But
And
either
then
way, like, they got to be so happy.
the brother sister is a cool dynamic too. Yeah, a lot going on there.
And Tyra goes 2-0 against Anna Lee in those matches. Like I think Anna Lee was something like 49-3 going into that. And to beat her twice in that match,
In one match,
Crazy.
yeah. The match. Yeah.
crazy. You know, I couldn't have guessed it. And congrats to Tim Parks. He called the Dallas Flash a long while back. He made sure to send me the video within 10 seconds of the win. I did not make a good call at that time. I had DC, so I was
Oh, that was
well
a
wrong.
potential. That could have happened.
yeah. But I'm saying, but yeah,
Yeah.
potential doesn't matter. What happens matters.
Yeah.
What happens matters. Like, do I think that the outcome there is Anna Lee's losing twice? I think 98 times out of 100 that doesn't happen, but it happened.
Yeah.
That's sports. That's why it's interesting.
Yeah. And right at the end there, JW was with some lady that I did not recognize. What's the story there?
I
don't
don't know
have
the
one.
story, but does JW have a girlfriend? And we don't know about it?
It's like, why he's
It
playing
looked
so
like-
well?
There was some fireworks going on between those two
There
in the
was some- there was a
celebration,
deep
wasn't
hug.
there?
Wasn't
It was
just
a
the
deep hug.
confetti.
And I wasn't sure. Like, she was kind of like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And I didn't know. I was like, don't kiss me in this environment or don't kiss me. I couldn't tell.
It was,
But they looked very handsy.
yeah,
I
Good
like
for him.
that.
Hey, yeah, good
convivial.
for him. I mean, the guy, you know, one of the best pickleball players in the world. He should be getting some lady interest. I mean, if he's not, fuck, man.
Well, you saw his shirt, the L and the I were so close
Fuck wizard.
together. It said fuck wizard. You think that advertising worked out? in the crowd?
Could you imagine? They're like, oh,
Oh,
shit.
damn.
Good for him.
Gotta go check this guy out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
Just
think that
doesn't
is what
miss, man.
happened. Actually, Julie told me. She was like, "Yeah,
Oh,
it was
stop
the
it.
jersey."
Yeah. No interest until we put the L and the I close together. All of a sudden, he's got to line out the door.
That was the
Good
best.
for him. I didn't even notice it until memes put it out. It's like, these guys really just pay so much
They're
attention.
so good.
They're so aware. It's incredible.
I mean, the confetti. It's like we want to thank all the staff. Now,
now clean this
now
shit
clean all
up. You want to go home.
Oh,
That was a lot of confetti.
it was great.
They spent a lot of money on
It's
that for
good.
sure. Now that it's done, season's concluded. We got next year. There's going to be some drops and trades and whatnot. So
You're required to drop one player.
All right.
It's tough. The drops. Let's get to that because that's very interesting.
Just Premier.
Who does? Yeah, let's just do the top four for Premier.
Okay.
For now.
All
We
right.
can
So
get to it.
top four.
Okay, so who does?
Let's start with Dallas.
Yeah, who does Dallas drop?
Dallas will have to drop. It's-
Tyra or Augie. There's no chance Georgia or JW are getting dropped. Zero.
It's usually going to be a guy, is my guess, and it's probably going to be Augie, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Because if you get rid of JW and Georgia, that's not the same team.
No.
And you
then-
don't
And Julie's
don't
not
want to get rid
part
of Tyra. Tyra's hard to come by.
Are very hard to come by at this
So
moment.
unfortunately, even though Augie played out of his mind,
Right.
it's Augie. That's an easy
I
one.
agree with that.
Okay.
Ooh, I don't know if it's easy, but I agree
I'm
with
not easy to make, but
Okay, so we'll go with that. And then we'll start with the fives. It's either Zane or Mari. I don't think Will goes away. I just think because he has more upside at the moment than Zane. Like Zane even said that. He's like, you kind of don't know what Will's going to be yet. And he's got a high ceiling where you kind of know what Zane is. And a very, very good player, a great team player, probably, one of, if not the most successful men in MLP. So, but I think unfortunately we have to drop someone.
could they drop both? The
They
fives are
could.
probably going to spend money.
They could drop both. That's very
I
possible.
could see them going just,
I just don't think they get rid of Will.
Anna Lee comes in. Anna Lee comes in with some things she wants, and suddenly
that's
they're
that.
grabbing a woman and a man. That
Yeah, and I hate to say that. Maybe that was on Mari's mind because, man, the final, she was just, fuck. Like, error count was insane. So maybe she was so nervous. Maybe she thought, like, if I perform really well here, I stay. If I don't, I'm out.
I'm sure it's a lot of things, not just
Yeah.
one thing.
No,
yeah.
for sure.
Oh, a great thing. I want to bring up a point. So you know how the fives have that chant that
1,
Ryan Harwood
2, 3, 4, 5.
The Dallas came up with one that I thought was great. They counted it down every time they did it. So every time the fives say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, flash.
Oh,
and it
shit.
crushed that 5 chant. It was great.
Wow.
Wow.
It was really
That's
good.
good.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it caused a problem. I don't know if you saw when they were playing.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
They gave him a point.
Yeah, Tyra didn't
I
hit the
hated
ball
that. I
because
hated that.
a guy was screaming in the background after that whole chant, like "Flash mob, got you," and like right while she was serving. And what's that rule? That the ref should call that.
Well, the ref says that if
didn't
like
hear it?
the crowd is loud, I guess the rule is that it's a penalty against the team. So like, let's say it's Dallas. I believe this is right. If it's Dallas's crowd that's yelling, then it's a point against you.
What?
But I don't think and I could have that wrong. I don't think there should be any rule at all. Like, let them yell. It should be loud.
Yeah,
And you can't monitor that. It's impossible.
you can't do that. Yeah, and then people will be yelling as if they're a fan of the other team on purpose to get them. But this
I
was
could have that wrong though. So
this
I
was
wanna,
one single guy that after everything went quiet, yelled out like a whole
you
sentence.
can't control that.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, you got to play through it. Tyra should just hit the ball.
Yeah, should just hit the ball.
Yeah. I agree. Which teams have you got left on the drops? You did the fives. You did.
The Ranchers.
Okay, so Ranchers.
That's a tough one. That's really tough. I think it's one of the women.
Okay.
I don't think it's Kwong, right? Because so young,
Yeah.
upside high. I don't think he played great, but it is what it is. So you got to think Tina or Marietta. I mean, Marietta hasn't had the best year to end in women's. She started off the year super hot. Obviously made finals of nationals with Christian. So maybe they keep that together. So my guess is Tina. Because Marietta and Christian are playing together for the majority of the year next year. So they're a pairing. You got to take Tina out.
And you're not getting rid of Christian. You're not getting rid of Kwong. I'm going to say, oof, I don't know.
You're going to say I'm right.
I have to be on the inside to know what the ownership group thinks of each
That's the
player.
whole point of this.
You can't speculate if you
fuck
have the
is that?
inside
That's the
enough.
dumbest
I'm
shit
going to
ever.
say
That's
Marietta.
the dumbest
I'm going to say Etta right.
statement I've ever heard in my life.
I want to know.
I have to be on the inside, Rowan. I have to know.
There's got to be some team chemistry there
What's
that I don't know.
That's the whole point for speculating. You want to like know inside information to speculate?
That's too funny.
I'm gonna go the
No, no, no,
opposite.
no,
They're
no,
gonna
no.
keep Tina because Tina's a rock and she's a local
Okay, just go the
local
opposite.
pro that we love. I'm gonna
All
say
right.
Yes, we did love. You
Marietta.
want to sit with me?
Okay. And then Flash.
We
already
did
did that.
Oh,
Flash.
we did Flash already? So
So
that's
what's
it. That's the
last
top
one?
four.
No, we did a shock. It's a tough one. Gabe or
shock.
Kate
Oh.
Fahey is the word on the street.
Oh, you already heard? So you have
No.
inside info. Oh.
No, I don't.
Oh.
I'm just saying, like, it's common sense. And like, I think unfortunately, Gabe is easier to replace than Kate. Like, she's been playing for whatever, a year, nuts in singles. But to me, my opinion, you get rid of Kate.
But Anna Bright always seems to find another one of those
Exactly.
players,
There
another
will be
Kate
more
Faye.
girls coming. If it's me, I would drop Kate. But that's the general like consensus is that Gabe is easier to replace. I don't think so. Gabe is a unique breed, very unique. And Kate hasn't done anything in women's doubles yet. Nothing. So to me, it's got to be Kate.
I'm gonna say it's Gabe.
Contrarian over here.
Only because
Yeah, you just give me that insider information. If only I knew the
Only-
ownership group and I could talk to them and they could tell me what they're
I
going to
thought
do.
maybe we could.
Then
I thought you and I could talk about if there's some team chemistry things you know there about the Ranchers. Do you know anything going on?
No.
Like
No.
some players do well on better on teams than others.
No.
Has
No.
nothing to do with their play because their play to me is similar. If I had to put those two women together and say like, what are the pros and cons of these women? They're kind of the same, aren't they? Like, what's the benefit of one over the other between Tina and Etta?
The fact that Christian is going to play with Etta. next
Okay,
year.
yeah, there you go. I'm still going with Etta. I like Tina.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Tina too. This isn't about who we like. It's
It is for me.
speculative.
Yeah. Those are
Don't
tough
gamble, then. Get
decisions to
emotional.
make.
I don't gamble.
Very tough decisions.
They're very hard decisions, and it's going to be sad to see.
Yeah, for our team included.
Yeah.
So you will have to drop someone as well?
Well, we're required to drop Krista. We have to drop Krista because she wasn't a PPA contracted player. So she only had a 1-season contract, and therefore she has to be let go.
Got it. Okay. But other challenger teams do have to make a choice.
Yeah, challenger teams do too.
Okay.
Yeah, like Miami. Let's just do Miami, since that's a pretty
Miami.
good team. Who do you pick on Miami?
Not
Bobby and Milan.
One of the men. Probably Noe, just because he's older.
Yeah.
And I think Eric has a higher upside just because he's kind of younger, more gangly, more
And I think
athletic.
he played better too. He had better results.
Yeah, and I think he's but I mean, look, both guys are, I think, interchangeable. They're comparable and have different skill sets. Noe is definitely a better singles player at this point. But yeah, you know, you got a lot of this is going to be age range, potential upside, and I take Eric. Eric's got a higher upside.
All right.
Yeah.
These
So
choices are easy now that I think about it. The guy-girl thing. I mean, there's a lot of guys to grab.
Yeah, for sure. Especially at the challenger level, guys are going away.
Yeah.
If you have good girls, you're getting rid of them. Or sorry, if you have good girls, you're keeping them.
Yeah.
You're keeping them.
Yeah.
And so Miami took the challenger, which is again not a prediction we made. But do you think that is purely because of the lack of Jaume and the other?
Not purely. No, I think they had a fighting chance. They were probably for us, odds on for second at least, second or first.
Yeah, no, I had Atlanta winning it. You had the hard eights.
I would have picked Miami 2, I think.
Okay. Yeah. MVP. Who's your vote for MVP?
For the season or for the final?
For the season.
We picked these together. I forget who we picked now.
Well, it's Anna Lee for sure.
We
for
picked
the season.
Anna Lee.
That's a no-brainer. But for the final, it's Augie Gut.
Did he get it? I think he got it.
I don't even know.
I
didn't see.
Yeah, I think they picked
didn't pay
MVP and
attention.
Augie got it.
Okay.
Someone asked me about
Pretty
that
sure.
too. I was like, I didn't even watch the ceremony.
I didn't either.
As soon as the pickleball's over, I turn it off.
But yeah, we picked, and then who else? We picked, I think, in Challenger, Dwame.
Well, you were there. How do you think the overall event was? Like, was it good turnout, exciting, quality? Because obviously that's been an issue all year.
It was quality. It was great. Only thing I get rid of is the pickle rolls. They caused the bounces to be funny. And kudos to the players for not complaining about it, not always looking down or bitching at the ball, or they just played through it, but you could see it. The bounces were short and they were low, and it was having people reach when they shouldn't have been reaching, which was frustrating. And then the tripping part. The only thing I would complain about, the main thing I complain about is I think that the best of 3 matches is too much. I think it's exhausting on the players and on the fans. As a fan, you're there, you're watching the first match in the morning at 10 a.m. and then you're going until 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. at night.
That was a one-time thing just because they fit it in for this year. You know, so many things this year were just because of the way they fit it in. That was obviously not the way to do it.
But I had viewership exhaustion, even though it was amazing and the matches were amazing. You were like, geez, another 2 hours? This is crazy. Yeah. So that would be my only comment for the event at all. Yeah, being there, it was amazing. People loved it. You could tell people were loving it. They were into it. Nice. And there were a lot of fans. Dallas and the Fives had a lot of fans, like hundreds.
Wow.
I was blown away with gear on and cheering and screaming and bells, and it was wild.
Yeah. That's all we got. That's everything, I think.
All right, well, great MLP.
Yeah.
Still fucking
good job,
MLP. To play, but great to watch.
Yeah. So, and maybe we'll come back in the new year with our new name.
Oh God, I can't wait. Balls.
Balls.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.